Hello, I'm Kuenzang and you are listening to our weekly program Focus on Health. In our program for this evening, we have a debate highlighting should abortion be legalized. The debate was organized at the National Institute of Education NIE SAMSI.
We are going to go with our debate that is abortion should be legalized. For the motion, Mr. Tens Namgil, Karmadiki and Sonam Chiso will be talking. Mr. Pema Khandu, Sonam Sring and Kamala Gurung will be talking against the motion. So can I call Karmadiki to proceed with your statement? Abortion should be legalized.
Well, let me first begin with our country's present situation. In our country, presently, abortion is not legalized. Let's get back to this statement after I finish presenting some of my points. So firstly, the cause of teenage pregnancy, which is to be termed as those childhood love and all those love kind of thing between the kids. Those love, those fantasies, those moments between the teenagers are unavoidable. And in this modern situation, those kids won't stop doing it and nobody can stop them. Besides the advertisements of contraceptives, besides being taught in the classes, besides being included in their syllabus about use of contraceptives and those preventions, those teenagers overdo it. And the outcome is there are a lot of teenage pregnancy cases. And in these cases, of course, boys are at the safer side. But the focus point out here are the girls, those teenage girls who get pregnant. So what are the alternatives that those girls have? They have nothing left. If they go home, parents, they will definitely do something which is undesirable or which will disturb the mentality of the child. Cannot even depend on the boy because he may be neglecting or his parents may not be accepting. Where would she go? To the hospital, which is not legalized and which will land up advertising that she is pregnant and screw up everything that she has. So she has no alternatives left. So when abortion is not legalized in our country and when these situations are faced by the teenagers, what they do is simply land up doing all those which are not legalized. And when they do what is not legalized, they land up risking their own health. And has been already seen in lots of newspapers and news channels in lots of days ago, they have risked their lives. And those were few of the highlights that newspaper people could catch up. But there would be many who we have not noticed, but must be really suffering. So when not legalized, such issues are being suffered by the young teenage ladies, and still things are not in proper condition. Therefore, what we think is abortion should be legalized in our country for those teenage girls who really needs help. Because if being legalized, they will have a better place to go. If not parents, if not the one who have discussed the problem, she can at least go to the hospital. And if being legalized, government can make it in such a way that the hospital knows the details, knows the proper background, and when she does abortion, without risking her life, without the proper guidance from the doctors, what she loses is she loses money, she loses her health, and she loses her baby. But if legalized, if she does properly in our government hospitals, she won't lose money. She won't lose her health because those health advisors would help us. Only she would lose is her baby. So if abortion being legalized in our country in a sensible way, step taken in order to help those teenagers girls who don't have any alternatives, then I guess our country should really legalize abortion. Thank you.
Thank you, Karma. To object this point, I would like to call upon Mr. Pema Khandu.
I would like to state that abortion should not be legalized in our country. Let me first give some statistics regarding the world scenario and coming back to our own nation scenario. Globally, there are 44 million abortion cases recorded every year, among which 25 million people of abortion is carried through unsafe processes. And due to this, it results in high maternal mortality and morbidity rate Every year, 70,000 women die due to this unsafe practice of abortion, and it is also associated with numerous post-abortion complications, and it is a sad complementary even for our nation, Buddhist society as well. Numerous reports of Buddhist women dying due to unsafe abortion has been reported across the border, and I say it not to legalize the abortion in our country because the Penal Code of Bhutan, which is adapted from the Buddhist ethical and moral basis, states that it should not be allowed. It is illegal from the Penal Code of Bhutan, and it is only allowed in order to safeguard the mother, in order to terminate the fetus if it is due to the result of rape, and if the mother is mentally unsound. So in this regard, there are 234 cases reported in Thimphu alone and 118 cases reported from Princeling. It is published in one of the edition in Bhutan Observer. So I would like to restate and reaffirm that abortion should not be legalized in our nation. It only encourages more teenage pregnancies, unwanted pregnancies, than minimizing teenage pregnancy, as you have stated. So in this way, it should not be legalized. Thank you.
Thank you, Pema. Pema says that legalizing abortion would further motivate teenage pregnancies. So, to answer this question, Sonam Chiso, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, my worthy opponent, for meticulously presenting your points. I remember you stating that there are around 75 million abortion cases globally, and out of that, 25 million women, they die due to post-abortion, due to unsafe practice of abortion. So where does this unsafe abortion come from? This is because of illegal abortion. Had the government legalized the abortion, and if the government had taken proper measures to set up safer abortion centers in the country, then those women would not have died. So death of those women can only be blamed at the law of the nation for not making the abortion legal. So now let me ask you one question that has been disturbing me so far. Why is this abortion not legal in many countries? Okay, yes, definitely, since we are a Buddhist country, we will say that it's a sin. But then let me ask you another question. Like, okay, now let me go biologically. So within the trimester, that is within 3 months of pregnancy, the child is scientifically proven to have no life. So if we abort the child at this stage, it is just like wiping out a clot of blood in our womb, just like menstruation. But then this wiping out of a clot of blood is considered a sin. Then what about we killing thousands of animals every year for meat? And what about us drinking every single day? So these are greater sin considered in our Buddhism, but still then we do not ban the killing of animals or drinking of alcohol because it benefits the general public. Whereas legalizing the abortion benefits only a group of women. So don't you think we are being very, very selfish? Once in a while, we ought to put ourselves in their shoes and think, why do they want to abort a child? Are they gaining any financial profits? Are they gaining power, status? Or are they getting healthier? In fact, they're risking their life. And then you can imagine, when they can go to that extent of risking their life, imagine what kind of problem they must be in. They resort to abortion only as a last resort because they're very, very desperate. So we need to hear those lonely cries of these women, and then we need to fight for them instead of just stigmatizing them. And then I would like to bring up 3 disadvantages of not legalizing the abortion. First of all, we see in our newspapers and news TVs that abortion, whether it's legal or illegal, it still prevails in our country. And every year we see girls and pregnant women suffering from complications due to unsafe pregnancy. So you can imagine that whether it's illegal or illegal, people are still practicing it. Rich ones, they go to foreign countries, have better facilities, and then abort safely. Whereas the poorer ones, they go to bordering countries, have unsafe abortion, and then risk their life. So don't you think we are creating a gap between the rich and the poor? This is totally against the GNH philosophy that we have in our country. And secondly, As we said, just not legalizing the abortion does not curb down the sexual activity in this generation. As we can see, the sexual rate of this century is more than what we have witnessed so far. So, even if it is not legalized, the girls, they will go to neighboring countries for abortion. That is by paying. So you can see that there is an outflow of rupee. So that is, in a way, it's giving a hard blow to our economy. And then thirdly, it saves both the mother and the child. So you must be aware that statistics have pointed out that 90% of the crimes have been committed by those people who come from broken families or from single parents. And then they are 4 times more poor, they have a higher level of aggression, and then they are more likely to commit crimes in the future. So in a way, if we do not let those women abort the child, so what is happening is she is firstly giving rise to a child who is not going to be happy with his life. For example, if I am a mother and I am a single parent, I don't have any financial support, so I'm not allowed to abort, and I don't even have the money to abort a child. So if I give a birth to a child, so what will happen to that child? Yes, the society is going to stigmatize the child by calling him bastards and all these things. The child, when he goes to school, he's bound to suffer from bullies, stigmatization. So in the long run, the child is going to be mentally disturbed. Is that the kind of future that you are wishing for your child? As a mother, I would never ever want my child to suffer that same fate. So instead, if I feel that I cannot protect my child in the future, and if I cannot guarantee him a happy life for my child, then I would rather kill it and be guilty my whole life. That's what I would like to say.
Sonam talked about the segregation between rich and poor for not legalizing abortion. She says that because of this particular law, the outflow of rupee is increasing. So, to respond this particular statement, I would like to ask Sonam Sri to talk on this.
This is the best part of the debate, and to propel it further, I would like to definitely go against with what the opponent said. Abortion shouldn't be legalized in our country. Why? Because my worthy opponent said that women are risking their life by going through abortion. Now, let's come to the end product. After going abortion, let's check the health of women. Still, there is plenty of risks. For example, after doing abortion, there's a risk of PTSS, post-traumatic stress syndrome. There's a risk of fertility failure in future. There's a risk of several miscarriage in future. Even there's a risk of uterine rupture and abnormal hemorrhage. And there's a high risk of breast cancer. My worthy opponent also said that abortion is not killing. It is just removing a fetus, a clump of cell from the body. Now I have a question. When a fetus or a baby inside this womb kicks, normally a woman doesn't say, the fetus kicked. What the woman says, the baby kicked. So you can see it. The fetus are also living cells. For example, even the simplest dead cell, when the dead cells are removed from our body, for example, nail, when we remove nail from our fingers, we know how much it pains. Think about the living cell inside our body, how much painful it will be. My worthy opponent also said that due to illegalizing abortion in the country, many of the women are dying. Country should legalize it. Why should a country pay for the negligence and carelessness of individual? You compare the economic development of our country. Is our country ready to take all the misdeeds of population, people, citizens? Even animals, before they kill their babies or offspring, they think. We are the humans with intelligence. We should think. Why to do abortion rather than adopting? Now, one of my worthy opponents said that there are lots of contraceptives to prevent it, even though there is lots of abortion taking place. There's a lot of pregnancies. Now, abortion here is not a meaning of contraceptive. Let me cite an example. If a mother of Albert Einstein, if a mother of Abraham Lincoln, if a mother of George Washington, Thomas Edison has gone through abortion. Can we have such grateful people in the world? That's why definitely I would like to say that abortion should not be legalized in our country, not only in our country as a whole. Till now, abortion is not legalized in our country. In the future, it will remain the same. Thank you.
Thank you. Let us now hear what Tenzin Namgil has to say about this particular statement.
Thank you so much. First of all, let me tell you the number of countries that allow for abortion. 97% of the countries in the world allows abortion. I think when many people judge abortion to be legal, why can't our country judge it as illegal? So when there's a number of countries who judge the abortion to be legal, I think there is some sense, because they find being abortion to be legal more merit than demerits. So that is one thing that the opponents will have to think about. And the women, the ladies, and the young girls does not go for abortion out of pleasure. This is the misfortune that comes to them. This is a mistake. The causes of the girls and ladies and women going for abortion is unplanned child, a child without father, the accidental pregnancy, rape pregnancy. So child without father, why should we, since it is unplanned child, why should we let the child to struggle? Because it is not planned child. I mean, father and mother does not want the child, or the girl do not want the child. Therefore, it is not really wise to let the child struggle and the girl in the struggle. So that is also the thing that we need to think about. And it is very risky. It is really risky for both the child and the mother. Now, let's take in terms of economic considerations. One of the debaters said that, it is always better for us not to go for abortion. We have to also think about the child inside. How much pain we get, the child inside will also get the pain. I know that. We consider that. But taking into time consideration and the economic, we should be more economic than to go for abortion and then not to go for abortion. I think that is also important. Now, traveling 100 miles, 200 miles from their hometown, the Bhutanese girls are going to the border areas and trying to abort. In fact, this is because, in our country, it is illegal. So, had there been the legalization in our country in terms of abortion, then I think the women and the girls may not go across the country for abortion. These are all risky areas. They don't have proper treatment in these local hospitals. Now, when they go out of the gate of Bhutan, half of the life is already dead. This shows how dangerous they are. We Buddhist people always say it is illegal to abort. The reason because we are Buddhist and we are compassionate human beings. Don't we feel that we are more compassionate and we are more Buddhist if we take care of the life of mother? The sense of the child inside the mother's womb would be more lesser than the sense of the pain of the mother. So that's why I would always suggest my dear opponents to think about it. So thank you so much. That's all.
Thank you, Tenzin. We have Kamal Guru now.
Okay. Like Kisan said, any woman who has felt a baby inside her and anyone who has seen the tiny pulsing on the ultrasound screen knows that abortion is about ending life. You're killing someone. Don't you think you're always talking about the right of that woman? But don't you think there is the right of the child? Don't you think? And I would like to make it clear that whatever the opponent said, that till the trimester the baby is not there. But I would like to make it clear that trimester abortion face twice the risk of contracting breast cancer. And okay, another statement was that, oh, the people are being selfish because they are not making the woman get her right. But do you think that, is she not becoming selfish? Is she not becoming selfish by aborting the child and just choosing her career or something else? Is she not having a choice about that? And yes, she also pointed about the gap between the rich and the poor. Okay, you said that, the opponent said that. Yes, they could go to the world-class hospital where they go and abort them, but only the poor people who go and abort in the border town. Do you know, it's not because of the rich and the poor. It's because even if it's legalized, abortion is legalized in Bhutan, it can still exist because the poor people have those conservative, preservative things in their mind. Bhutanese people are conservative, and then yes, people who are very poor, they have that dignity, they have a character. To avoid the social stigma, they don't go to clinic, even if it's legalized. And I would like to say that in US, what happened is that in 1972, there was no legalized, abortion was illegal. But there, what happened is that 39 women died of abortion. But when that abortion was legalized in 1973, what happened, do you know? The increase in death rate of the mother from the 39 women, it increased to 1,000. So you should be thinking about that one as well. And also, yes, I would like to tell you that the 10% of 1.6 million of women who have had abortion experiences the severe emotional trauma. And also you told that, yes, we should be thinking about the health of the mother. Yes, we are thinking about the health of the mother. That's why we are saying that the legalization of abortion should not be there. So that's why we also have the statement by doctor, he conducted that research, and Dr. Philippe Ginet found that feelings of guilt is existed after the abortion. 26% of guilt is there in the mother, and 32% of anxiety and 42% of depression. So do you think she would be leading a happier life and fulfilling the GNH if she is aborting a child and killing also? A child without father doing well in the society. Did you see any example of that? We have child who are doing excellent. You also pointed about the teenage pregnancy. A day will come when all the dustbins of the hospital will be filled with the aborted babies. Do you want to see that scenario? I would not prefer that. I would like to be a responsible mother, even if it's single. So, thank you.
Now we have come to an end, and before we end our debate, we will have a rebuttal. To start with the rebuttal session, I would like to request Sonam Chiso to talk on this particular topic. Abortion should be legalized.
Thank you very much. My worthy opponents have been very kind enough to point different kinds of symptoms and diseases that a mother would go through after abortion. Like they mentioned about post-abortion symptoms and such kind of diseases. So now let me ask you, why does that happen? Because abortion is illegal. So what we are asking for, three of us, what we are asking for is to legalize it and then make it safe so that no such kind of incidents happens again. And then secondly, one of my worthy opponents have mentioned about our future dustbins being filled with babies. So do you think our doctors are going to be that stupid enough to blindly abort any child that Tom, Dick and Harry brings? No, the doctors are going to look into it, investigate it, and then do so properly. Now let me go to what one of my worthy opponents have said, that if I state the statement, he said, why should government care about their carelessness? If we as a government don't care about our little teenagers, then who are going to do that? Right? It's our duty to take care of them. And then they also mentioned that what if Abraham Lincoln's mother had aborted him? What if a teenager gives birth to a child and if it is not like an Abraham Lincoln? What if the child is unhappy and lonely, stigmatized in the society? And what about if the child has no friends, if a child has no future and is just traumatized his whole life? Then are we going to risk it? We are being in pursuit of an Abraham Lincoln. That is our ambition, that is our desire. We are instead creating a Bin Laden. So we shouldn't be doing that. And then secondly, as I said before, if a mother wants to abort a child, then it's clearly evident that the child is not accepted by the mother. So even if the child is born, firstly the child is not accepted by mother, the child will be definitely lonely, unhappy with life, frustrated at his fate, and on top of it all, no father, and then no financial aid. And then when he goes to school, there's obviously stigmatization. So if this is called life, I would not want to live it. Life is something, being happy with ourselves, being happy with our life, and enjoying. If I'm going to give such kind of horrible life to my child, then I would like to ask each and every mother, would they really want to see the child suffer in future? So we should be thinking about that. And then lastly, I would like to ask each and every one to stop acting as an observer for once, and then let's just try to get into those women's shoes who want to abort despite knowing the health risks that she might be facing.
So let us just imagine that we have been impregnated by our boyfriend and the boyfriend refuses to accept us. Definitely the family is going to kick us out of the house. Society is going to stigmatize it. And then think about what kind of emotions we will be running through. We would be scared, lonely, no money, no one to go for. And then if you were in that girl's position, ready to commit suicide, so how would you feel? So that's why I'm asking you all to stop being an observer for once and all, and then try to put ourselves in our shoes and not just think, but feel from deep within our heart how we would feel if we were that desperate and lonely in our place. And abortion seems to be the only rescue, the only God-sent gift. So I think abortion should be legalized for those women. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. To talk against the motion, we have Pema Khandu.
We are not least convinced. We would like to stand with our statement that abortion should not be legalized in our country. When you mentioned about the gestation period, you didn't mention about different gestation period at which the fetus rapidly develops and becomes of life. So there are many stages through which a woman, mother, undergoes abortion. There are incidences of women undergoing abortion even after 7 to 8 weeks of gestation. So by that time, a life would had been already implanted in a mother's womb. So when you talk about kindness and religion, taking a life, I think it's not in accordance with the Buddhist philosophy. Instead of promoting teenage pregnancy, I would like to rather sensitize on preventive measures for unwanted practices of teenagers. And abortion should not be allowed because it will encourage more teenagers to have uncontrolled sexual practices which can raise the chances or transmission of sexually transmitted diseases or infections, and that's going to be very vulnerable and threatening to our nation. And our nation, I don't say it's in a state whereby it can provide good medical facilities for safe abortion in our country. Our country is right now running under the economic and financial turmoil, and you should understand this situation. I don't see it happening 10 years or 15 years from now. It is not going to be legalized in our nation. And our country, our government has especially learned the lesson by observing. You mentioned that 95% of the nations in the world has legalized abortion, but our country has not yet legalized abortion. Especially our leaders are far-sighted and they learn through others' mistakes, and I believe in them, and I would like to stand and restate that abortion should not be legalized in our country. Thank you.
Coming to an end, I would like to thank all the debaters for your wonderful information and opinions and for sparing your precious time. Thank you very much.
Well, with this, we come to the end of our debate. Should abortion be legalized? Thank you very much for listening. Until then, this is goodbye from Kuenzang.